Et bonjour, it's Jennifer, your French teacher in the south of France, and today we're going to have a look at the past conditional. So, in other words, how to say could have, should have, and would have. Last week we had a close look at could and would, so I figured why not take it one more step and have a look at the French past conditional. You'll see that every time we talk about could or could have, in this case, we're going to use the verb pouvoir. And should is going to be the verb devoir. Now with would, you have to be careful because it's not just one particular verb. It always depends on what it is that the subject would do. But you'll see exactly what I mean because we're going to go through some examples together and I'm going to have you translate as well. Now look, if you're a beginner or you've just never studied the conditional or the past conditional, just hang tight and watch the lesson and see what you can get from it. If you are an upper level learner and you've done this before, then I want you to challenge yourself, okay? I should have studied French last night. So look, you have your word should, and I told you, anytime you say should in French, this is going to be the verb devoir, devoir. Okay, now we have to remember in the past conditional that we are actually following the rules of the passé composé, which means you're going to need a past participle. In this case, get in your mind what's the past participle of the verb devoir, and you're going to need a helping verb. So the verb devoir, the helping verb is avoir. What you have to do is put avoir in the present conditional. That's a lot of talk. Let's see how you bring it all together. I should have studied French last night. Let's read this together. J'aurais dû étudier le français hier soir. Encore. J'aurais dû étudier le français hier soir. So as I promised, we're using devoir to mean should or should have. So the conditional, the present conditional of avoir is j'aurais. Remember, that's your helping verb, and your past participle is dû. D'accord? Okay, just look at that in English, though. I should have studied, because I don't want you to get confused. Here in English, we have the word studied in the past. That's the past participle of to study. But see, it's not at all the same in French because look at the French. We're not concerned with the past participle of étudier here. We're concerned with the past participle of devoir. So what you really are looking at is I should have. Maybe it helps to remember that the verb devoir in the present tense means, well, it means I must, but it also means I have to. I have to do something, okay? Donc, j'aurais dû étudier le français hier soir. Let's have a look at one where we're going to use would, or in other words, would have. Now, as promised in the very beginning, I told you that would, we're going to have to look for a main infinitive. You don't have just one verb that's automatically going to tell you, oh, this is would. No. So we have to say, what would he have done? Okay, he would have gone to work. But he didn't feel well. So actually, we're not saying he would have worked. We're saying he would have gone, like to the office, to work. So what is the verb gone? Well, that's a past participle, but of what verb? To go. So what is the verb to go? Well, it's aller. That's right. So he would have gone. Now, before we move on, we have to think about which helping verb do you use? Because remember, we need to follow our passé composé rules. So for the verb aller, what is your helping verb? Is it être or is it avoir? Okay, it's être, right? You have to put that into the present conditional. So how do you put être in the present conditional? Using il as your subject. Okay, let's have a look. I want you to read the answer with me and then we'll talk about it. Here we go. Il serait allé au travail, mais il ne se sentait pas bien. Encore. Il serait allé au travail, mais il ne se sentait pas bien. So, as promised, we needed the helping verb for aller, which is être, and bravo, if you remembered your irregular stem, S-E-R, for the present conditional. So, il serait. Helping, the past participle of aller is aller. Il serait allé. And if elle had been our subject, for example, of course, we would have added an extra I to aller to make agreement. But we don't have to with il because it's singular. So he would have gone to this place, au travail. Il serait allé au travail, mais il ne se sentait pas bien. But he didn't feel well. And you see, this is the imperfect. It may help you to think, but he wasn't feeling well. He wasn't feeling well. So that's a reflexive verb, se sentir. Se sentir. Okay, let's have a look at another one using would. You wouldn't have wanted to go. Now you can do this, we're going to have a look at both the tu and vous forms, so do it whichever way you want. You wouldn't have wanted to go. So what we have to think is, what is it that you would or would not have wanted? Well, it's to want. You wouldn't have wanted to do something. So it's not about to go. Here it's about wanting to go, which is the verb vouloir. Remember that avoir is your helping verb for vouloir, and your past participle of vouloir is voulu. Voulu. So let's do the vous form first. We'll read it together. Allez. Vous n'auriez pas voulu y aller. Encore. Vous n'auriez pas voulu y aller. So that's using vouloir with avoir as helping verb. Vous n'auriez pas voulu. Remember that when you're making, whether you're in the passé composé or past conditional, when you want to make it negative, you have to put your ne and your pas around the helping verb. Okay? Donc, vous n'auriez pas voulu. And you have to use the pronoun I with aller. Don't forget that, because we have to indicate where it is that you wouldn't have wanted to go. It's like you're saying you wouldn't have wanted to go there. You need the I in French. C'est essentiel. D'accord? Let's just have a look at the tu form, because I said we would. Tu n'aurais pas voulu y aller. Tu n'aurais pas voulu y aller. So there, of course, our helping verb changes from auriez in the vous form to aurait in the tu form. D'accord. All right. So we're almost ready to do the last one. But to recap here, we have looked at should have, using devoir. We have looked at would have with a verb like aller, which uses être as helping verb. We have looked at one saying would have, but with the verb vouloir, which uses avoir as a helping verb. And now I bet you know what we're going to look at. We're going to look at one using could. Watch out. You could have hurt yourself. Watch out. You could have hurt yourself. Again, we'll look at the tu and vous forms first. Let's do vous first. So watch out. Attention. What is the helping verb for pouvoir? Well, it's avoir. So put that in the present conditional. And then I want you to think of the past participle of pouvoir all on your own. And you have to remember how to say to hurt yourself as well. Now remember, if you've never seen any of this and you're like, oh, this is over my head, you're still going to learn how to say to hurt yourself. Let's look at the answer, and we'll do this, like I said, in the vous form first. Attention, vous auriez pu vous faire mal. Encore. Attention, vous auriez pu vous faire mal. Vous auriez, that's the helping verb. Vous auriez pu, that's your past participle. Vous auriez pu vous faire mal. Now, the reason I've done that is because when you want to say to hurt yourself or to hurt oneself, the infinitive is se faire mal. Okay, so if vous is my subject, then I have to deal with this se that's down here, right? But I have to change it to vous. This is a reflexive pronoun, and I have to make sure that my reflexive pronoun agrees with my subject pronoun. Vous auriez pu vous faire mal. So, se faire mal, to hurt yourself, or to hurt oneself. Now, let's do it in the tu form. And before I show it to you, I want to make sure that you are dealing with your reflexive pronoun and that you're changing it to make sure it agrees with your subject, tu. Okay, let's do this together then. Attention, tu aurais pu te faire mal. Encore, attention, tu aurais pu te faire mal. So that means watch out, be careful, you could have hurt yourself. So tu aurais pu te faire mal. Just once again, remember, se faire mal means to hurt oneself. We're having to deal with that reflexive pronoun, so we change se to te to make sure that it agrees with my subject pronoun tu. And then all is well in the world. I want to show you my my sentence structure charts. You know, I like to make those. Let me scoot myself over here for a minute. I do have these all written out for you. I don't know. I just like to make them available. I know that it helps some people. You can get a copy of these for free, of course, on my blog. I do have the link to that down in the description below. You can look in the description below, and if you're watching this within my French program, then that's wonderful. If you're watching me on YouTube, do be sure to look at the description below for links to this lesson and so much more at the Love Learning Languages French Academy. So until next time, je vous dis à bientôt. Allez, ciao.